Always a pleasure to talk to the founder of Fight Hub TV, Marcus Villegas. And Marcus is out there in Las Vegas getting ready for the Battle of Mexico. It's Chavez against Canelo. It should be great. You were at the weigh-ins today. What did you make of the weight of Chavez Jr. and Canelo coming in almost at identical weights?
No, they actually came in identically in weights, and I was completely surprised for a few reasons looking at the physiques of both fighters. Like, for one, Chavez Jr. coming in half a pound less than his contracted weight. I think, that was more or less of a thing where he wanted to show to people, like, hey, you know what? I can get even below from what you guys said I couldn't even make, We were all wondering if he could make the 164.5, and he came in at 164. Now, some people have said he looked really, really bad. To me, looking at him and looking at the video and really focusing in on his face and how sunken in he was and his body language and if he was shaking on stage or anything like that, he looked fine to me. He didn't look, like a Walking Dead character. He didn't look like a zombie up there, He looked fine. He looked okay, Yeah, he was drained, but, it's a weight cut. He looked like any other fighter that's cutting a big amount of weight,
Yeah, you go back in history, obviously, Oscar De La Hoya, when he had to make that weight cut to get down to 147 for Manny Pacquiao, he looked dead on arrival at that fight. But that's not the image and the feel you got for Chavez Jr. How much do you think he'll rehydrate and put on before the actual fight tomorrow night?
That's a good question. I think that's one of the most important things coming into this fight. To me personally, I don't think he should gain more than 10 pounds. I've heard and I've seen online that the target is around 180 to 190. That's a lot of weight. From 164 to 180 to 190, that's a big amount of weight. If you put a lot of water on, you run the risk of being very lethargic inside the ring. Your legs are going to feel heavy, but who knows? But it's going to be around that weight range. And I've heard Canelo could possibly weigh around pretty close to 180, maybe like 175, somewhere around there as well.
Canelo
can
get
up there.
He can get up to 180. Canelo, really?
I don't know. I heard, around there, but normal protocol usually for a weigh-in is the guys gain about 10 pounds.
Right.
So if he weighed 164, he'll probably rehydrate to 174.
Absolutely. Do you think that's going to be a big difference, though? Will it be an advantage? Obviously, as you mentioned, it could be lethargic, a little sluggish if you're Chavez Jr. and you put on too much weight. But I guess the same risk could be for Canelo, because you would think Canelo, as the smaller guy, is he going to be able to pack that power to really hurt a Chavez Jr. because he is fighting a bigger man?
No, that's a very good point. All the knockouts that Canelo's gotten over his career have been against smaller guys. He's never been against a guy that's been as big as Junior. He's never been hit by a guy as big as Junior. So that's a very good point, and that's something we're all wanting to find out on Saturday night. I honestly don't know how much of an effect it will be. We've seen little guys move up in weight and do fine, but we've also seen other guys, little guys, try to move up in weight, and they fight these guys that are bigger than them, and they're just way too much bigger. They impose their size on them, and it doesn't work out well for them. But I think in this case, looking at Canelo and how he looked at the weigh-in, dude looked like a beast. He was doing the Brock Lesnar like little pose with like the traps coming out. He looked solid for 164. You could see he packed on muscle, and he looked really good.
Wow. Hey, Marcus, give me a blueprint for how you think Chavez Jr. can pull the upset. Is it using the length advantage, the reach that he has, keeping on the end of that jab, and then going for a late knockout? Is that a possibility?
That's another good question, man. You keep asking me these questions where I got to really, really think. I think what he's going to want to do is a few things. Using the height, using the reach. I think to this day, still Chavez Jr.'s best performance was against his Peter Manfredi fight and also against Andy Lee.
Yeah.
And in those fights, he did use his height, he did use his reach, but he brawled when he needed to. I think being the bigger guy and having the longer arms, I think he's going to want to do that. But when he is on the inside as well, he's going to want to stay covered up and then pick just one good shot to land on there, because you know that Canelo's going to fire off 3, 4, 5 punches at him. So I think if he goes that way, it could be a lot more interesting fight than many people are thinking. But you know what? Whenever you fight a bigger guy, it's a fight. It's a fight. When it comes down to it, it's a fight. And especially with the bigger guy, one punch can change it. And in this instance, it doesn't take much for someone to put somebody down due to a liver shot. It doesn't matter how hard you hit somebody in the liver. if you place it well, they're going to go down.
Absolutely. Ask, obviously Oscar De La Hoya with Bernard Hopkins took that shot. He was done for the day. Speaking of the Battle of Mexico, we obviously know that Canelo is still the fan favorite in Mexico. Chavez Jr. has had his issues, that he is beloved there. But you're in Vegas. What did you get the feeling like was today with that crowd? How's the split for Chavez and for Canelo?
You know what? I just literally spoke to somebody about this maybe about 10 minutes ago. And coming into the weigh-in, I was expecting, honestly, for Chavez to get completely booed out of the building. And then we went in there and they announced him. He got a lot of cheers. It was literally split half and half.
Wow.
When Canelo came out, once again, he got a lot of cheers, but he also got a lot of boos. So I think this is the same thing we're seeing in Mexico, where it's divided. Half of the people want to see Chavez win because he's a Chavez. They think of him and they think of his dad, and it makes them feel to a better time. They want to see the Chavez win. And the other part, they don't like Canelo. There's a lot of fans in Mexico that do not like Canelo as well. So I think that's kind of been brought over, and it's split 50-50.
I got to put you on the spot. You got a prediction for tomorrow night?
Here we go.
Come on. What do you got?
You're going to get me in trouble. Honestly, and I've been saying this from the very get-go, I think that Canelo wins this fight. Only him can make this fight difficult on himself. If he gets crazy in there and fights with emotion, he's going to make this a very hard fight. But I think when you look at fights, skills win fights. Skills pay the bills, as you say, the adage goes. And I think he has way too many skills for Chavez Jr. I think it does go late into the rounds, but I can see a stoppage happening in the fight, like a closed eye or something like that. But I can also see it going 12 rounds, given that Canelo's never put away a guy that's bigger than him or ever fought a guy that's bigger than him. So either way, I think Canelo's going to have a dominant performance tomorrow night.
He is the founder of Fight Hub TV, Marcus Villegas. And Marcus, I know that you got to get to work, but I see the Tecate behind you. You're in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Go enjoy the last night before the big fight tomorrow night, the Battle of Mexico. It's going to be great. Canelo against Chavez Jr. Marcus, always great to talk to you, my friend. We'll catch up again soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.